I'm ready.
Tak jo, jdeme na to.
Glad to hear it. We're going to attack on two
Co to
fronts.
provede?
The north gate and the west wall, which will scale with ladders. The attack will be split into different stages. Taking the outer walls, the inner bailey, and finally the core of the castle and the tower.
How are we going to attack the gate?
We'll try to do as much
Tam
damage as
prostě
we
na
can with the trebuchet first. Keezer claims he can even hit it directly. Even if that's true, we'll have to charge through a downpour of enemy arrows all the way to the portcullis.
Portcullis?
Fortunately, it's wooden, so we'll be able to break it down. But dealing with the defense in the bailey won't be easy.
And what's the plan for attacking the...
First, we have to get men to the wall with ladders, which is no easy matter. As soon as the ladders are in place, our foot soldiers will run up and try to scale the wall. Once a few of them get to the battlements, we should...
How will we take...
Either by scaling the west wall, or our men at the gate will help.
And the inner bailey?
That will be tough. Even if we get through the gate and into the outer bailey, we're still a long way from victory. The castle is designed so we'll be like hens in a coop to anyone with a bow on the inner battlements. We'll have to either fight our way through, or somehow get around them.
Jasně.
What about the living quarters?
There, I'm worried most about the hostages. Once we're inside, Istvan will know defeat is inevitable, but we'll still have to fight for each and every room.
I think I've heard everything I need to know.
Do you want to join the attack on the walls or on the gate? Remember, many of the Skalitz men will follow you. It could make a big difference.
I'll help with the attack on the walls.
Co?
I'm
Já
proud
jsem
of
si
you,
nemohl
Henry.
vybrat?
You've changed from an insolent pup into a tough, reliable fighter. And as God is my witness, we will
Proč?
kick those whore sons' arses.
A village lad and an old soldier. This man must be shaking in his boots.
If he's not shaking, then he doesn't know what he's got coming. Just one last thing, though. No matter how good the plan is, something always gets fucked up. Keep your eyes
Perfect.
open and take advantage of every chance. Help your comrades and don't go rushing in where you're outnumbered. We have to take the
Jasně.
castle gradually, one position after another.
I'll remember that.
Good luck to you.
Naběhnu na něj, prostě ho
Good luck
propíchnu.
to you, old soldier.
Goodbye.
Old soldier. Naše slavná armáda se nás je 80 přehání. Je ptáček. Toho bych měl střelit jako prvního. Co, trefí bránu? Jo, trefil bránu, ale jako to padl cíl. Hlavně hodně řvát, aby jsme soupeře upozornili, že jdou do útoku. Teď hodně načítat. Ale měli soupeři čas se připravit, že jo? Nové zadání, útok, to zní dobře. Steč na hradby. Rád bych. Že by mi to mezi tím řeklo něco bližšího aspoň. Ruky na ně. Počkat, co tady máme za šípy? Já jich nemám úplně moc, ale tak dobře, daleko nos vypadá dobře. Místo. Jdu. Ne. Co ukážete se, hoši? Neudržím dlouho ten luk. No dobře, tak tam prostě vylíst. Teda teď to dalekonosný šíp zřejmě budou k něčemu, jak se měl prohodit. Si dáme obyčejný, si nechám do zásoby, lovecký lepší. Hodné poškození 80 stopen, začneme ranivej, má průbojný jsou aspoň průbojný. Necháme průbojný, třeba uvidíme. To fakt, to teď střílej šípy do mě, někdo vedle mě. Rado. Na šípu zadku, je to dostaneš šíp dopředu. Máme ho dali stranou, jo. To je svoje, ještě jsem neschoval. Nestřílej do mě, pičo. Šípá. Dobře. Nejlepší se sbírat víc, tohle byl učišník. Počkej, kde máš šípy nějaký. Průbojný. Tam obrat, co s tím? No tak co tohle by... Moc. Střelit toho zadního, ještě, že naši mají barvy. Mně došly šípy, WTF. Tyhle teď se mi teď... raní. Nebyla. Já jsem levej. Jeden down. To mám vybu vlastně. Ježiš. Vůbec nelevej. Tohle dlabu.
We've got them! And now from the south! We'll charge them from the rear!
Člověk tu je. Tohle je určitě užitečnější, ale bych potřeboval začít trefovat za chvíli. To je někoho nebo ne? To dobrý bait dělá, ale já bych potřeboval takovou škcíku. To vlastně do ksichtu, kámo, to bys mohl říct skoro. Dobře, to bylo vedle. zapovat moc na blízko, protože vidím, že tam to letělo. Vidím, jak mám hladka pak ubíraný. Šípraní výtychci. Kolik z nich je zasekaných se podívat. A dlobat na prachy chci šípy hlavně. Dva jenom. Tím se vedám něco jiného, nevím co ještě. Jak nemáš? Jo, navíc koukám, že mi trochu ubírá jídlo, takže pro jistotu budeme chlastat do nějaký alkohol, který mě doléčí. Nachází se na soukromém pozemku, aha. Já bych potřeba vlastně tu jistiny dostat, ale nevím, kudy teďka. Čím je tady? A jo, ten jsem nechtěl šít. Jo, tady prošlo brány, jasně. Z nové úrovně všechno možný, výborně. Takže jsme dobili všechno možný už prostě mezi tím. Jako by přišel hlavní fight během toho, co jsem ještě doplnil hápka z lektvaru, bych si vůbec nestěžoval. Něco prostě stane s rukojmíma nejspíš, jenom ještě nevím co.
Sir, we should give the order.
Let's see if Istvan Toth can worm his way out of this one. Don't tempt fate, Hanish. Istvan! It's over! You want us to come and get you?
I wouldn't advise that. Your friend Divish wants to see his wife alive again.
And Sir Radzig? Are both hostages unharmed?
For now, Hanush, unless circumstances change.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. My guest is also safe and sound, but he's also quite keen to go home. I imagine you feel the same way. It's been a long time since you warmed yourself at your own hearth.
I'm in no hurry. I've plenty of supplies here, grand view and excellent company. What more could I want?
Your freedom!
Freedom? Freedom to get an arrow in the back?
Sir, you're all noblemen here. All bound by honor. I give you my word as a knight and lord, and that of my companions. If you release Lady Stephanie and Sir Radzig, you may leave the castle with your men and go on your way unharmed.
And just how far will we get? What good will it do me if your men attack us in the woods instead of here?
If you give me your word of honor that you will leave and never return, I promise you safe passage to the boundary of this fiefdom. What happens after that is up to you and the will of God Almighty.
Very well then, but I want a small safeguard. I'll give you her ladyship. But Radzig comes with me. I'll release him in Skalitz.
Out of the question! Is our word not good enough for you?
Is mine not good enough for you? I swear I'll release him when I get to a safe distance.
I'll go with him, Hanush. Let the Lady Stephanie have her freedom now.
Father!
Don't worry, son. I trust Lord Toth's self-interest more than his word. He wouldn't be fool enough to harm me.
If you're certain, Radzig.
Prepare horses and supplies, and tell your men to pull back. We'll come down.
You heard him. Get to work. And any man who breaks this truce answers to me.
So are you really going to let them go?
My word is my bond, Henry.
He's a cutthroat and a liar. Good men are dead because of him. What's to stop us from skewering him as soon as he sets foot outside?
Our honor.
If you let him go, he'll do the same again. Or worse.
God's justice will find him. Then, you'll get a taste of my mace.
If we break our word of honor, we have none. And without honor, we are nothing.
Jako nelíbí se mi porušit, ale já jsem nic neřekl. Já jsem nikomu slovo nedal.
We'll hunt down those vermin yet.
S tím armorem a kolik je tady potřeba nad mečem, tyjo. Na každý zabití by se Racek mohl prostě otočit a sejmout je sám.
Here she is, as I promised. Not a hair on her head harmed.
Divish!
Stephanie.
Forgive me, husband. I'm sorry
For what?
for letting them into the castle.
Come now, my dear. You're not to blame.
I didn't know who he was. He said he was your friend.
Never mind. Did he hurt you?
No.
I hope your word can be trusted.
A co můj meč?
If everything goes as agreed,
A
I'll
jak
set
se Margarda
Radzig
furt
free
na
in
ulici ještě
Skalitz.
k tomu.
If anyone tries to follow us, I'll kill him.
We won't.
Hej.
My apologies
Já
for
teda
keeping
budu.
you from your father, but you'll see each other soon enough.
Že by to nebyl final fight ještě?
I almost forgot.
Dáš
Your
mi
sword.
meč?
I expect you'll want it back after all the trouble you went to. Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you.
I look forward to it. Yeah!
Quick! To the battlements! We have to see which way they go! Oh, they really are heading for Skalitz. Mount up, Henry. You've heard what he'll do if we follow them. We're not going to follow them. We just have to collect your father. Or do you want him to walk back here when they release him?
Správně. Problém je, že ten hlavní, který odstřelil ty moje jako pseudorodiče, prostě tady pořád ještě jako nebyl. Já čekám nějaký final boss fight, tohle byla jenom dobejvačka hradu, což jako OK. Jsem prostě chvíli střílel z luku.
Yeah!
Počkat, co teď mám jít, mám mark na ně, mám. Skalice tady, tyho, kudy tam pojedem pro boha. Doufám, že to tady někde otočí, veme to tady přes ne, přes Přebyslavice, to nechceš. No dobře, to prostě čekat, kudy pojede, ona pojede za ním.
Yeah!
two you have. You wouldn't catch me doing that.
Truth is, I didn't think much about it. I just felt I had to do it.
Není
Noble, right?
Yes. So am I.
Sir Radzig will be there.
A jo, má totiž rychlejšího koně, když nesprintí už.
What will you do now?
Not long ago, I only made plans 3 days ahead at most. Maybe I really could do something for Rattay and its people. Something really big. But there'll be plenty of time for that later.
To je tak
What should I say to him?
zpomalený.
Don't worry. It'll come to you. You'll see.
Well, I just hope he'll be there. Alive.
Normálně bych tam už byl pomalu.
What do you mean?
Jako OK,
How long have we known each
vybral
other?
si rozumnou
A few
cestu,
weeks?
aspoň že jeden přes rovnou.
Something like that.
Before that, I was chasing wenches around Rattay and you were digging turnips. And now look at us. A pair of veterans.
Co, nějaká past po cestě? Nebo už to udělá travel normální? Fast travel až tam. Čekal bych spíš, že někde čekají, jestli někdo nepronásleduje náhodou. Kolik nás proto jede?
There's no sign of them. Move on. Glad to see Ishban kept his word, sir.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too. And now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I've twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
All right, Father.
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so I'll have to go back on foot.
It looks like it's all over.
Not by a
Takže
long
nebude
shot.
finální boss fight.
It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
And catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too?
No, of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
And where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
He knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you. Of that you can be sure.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing? Oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah. The sword. It's not my sword. It's yours. For a moment there it was so near, yet so far. Oh well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome. Not just to get the sword, but that bastard Istvan too. And then I'll find that German whoreson who torched Skalitz, and I'll slay him with it.
No, to jsem myslel, že bude
Never
final
forget
boss
his face.
fight. Jo, Mark Hart
Or
von
his
Aulitz,
name.
to je on.
Mark Vart von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son.
Nějak probliká
But
textu.
don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Though I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that at the cost of those other things.
Že to nechává takhle otevřený konec, nebo tam je ještě nějaký DLCčko teďka?
On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front. It's like I always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if you were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it?
Jo, to je ten čašek, jak hlásili příjezd jeho armády.
I think I know. It's Margrave Jobst.
The king's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Tak to je trapný. Žádný boss fight, really.
Město mě vřele vítá ve svém nitru.
Je to něco mluví, on se někdo krká.
Nemusím nic skrývat. Zde nejsem ničím štván. Navždy jsem
To nechci vidět titulky. Varná Ukrajinka, fajn.
Doing well, son.
What?
Father.
What the fuck?
Come now. You know who sired you.
That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting.
Now look at me. Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right. I have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Mistře Ugvej, nechuť. Ty květy se sletějí, úplně to vidím. Ne.
Will I ever see you again?
God knows. Make her proud.
Mzrum. Mega světlo. Probuzení.
Oh. Don't go. No.
What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you, and it's well past dawn. Sir Radzig wants you at the upper castle. The lords are in council with Jobst.
Right. I'll go straight away.
To je pak začátek DLCčka docela.
It's just... I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies. And here's me, as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun. And I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
Jo, nachází se na soukromém pozemku. To je dobrý začátek DLCčka. Jestli to teda tak je. Epilog. Tak to možná není zas tak úplně. Jako tohle je prostě trochu problém. A to ještě nechám být, jestli ať je vidět, jestli bude konec, nebo co se bude dít. Kam až mám jít do horního hradu, do tamhle, tak to je asi po střelbě. To je nasycenost 120, jo. Proč mi to dělá? Já mám perk, že když se držím mezi 50 a 100 víc než den, tak dostávám bonus k síle obratnosti a tak podobně. A oni mi to sejmou tím, že mě prostě překrmějí. Kůň. A.
What the?
Yeah.
Ježišmarja, tam byla průsvitná holka nějaká. Kam tady máme doleva, nebo... Jo, tady jde potřeba projet přes hrad.
Yeah.
Nevím proč, ale teď ke konci mě přijde, že trochu začaly jako texturový bugy. Já jsem v životě neviděl také průsvitného člověka nebo u katapultu, jak stáli ve vzduchu a teďka je toho nějak jako víc, no. Nevím proč. Vlastně i v té ukázce ten racek problikával trochu. Na jednom nebo dvou místech jsem ho viděl, jakože, když se objevuje až po začátku.
Hal. Are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
I hope you're right. Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants.
What the fuck? Co bylo tohle za obraz? To byl kus třmenu na koni? Mě ta hra chce asi potvrdit, že jako vážně. Je to prostě...
My lords,
lol,
Christ's
textura.
blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Redzig.
It came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur. That King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What, you're saying Wenceslas invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected king of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergholf, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Bergholf is on your side? Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
What kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghof, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghof know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, your grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Berghof at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghof would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I pack my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft a letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
To zvláštní jako epilog. Je prostě příprava na nějaký DLCčko nebo na něco dalšího.
To write it in your name as Lord of Lipa.
Quite so, Margaret.
What exactly am I to write?
Oh, what is really the issue? The question is how.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes. I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen
Jel
your
mě.
spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Berghof is no saint.
To bych
Don't
vlastně
worry.
byl ještě na jiný mapě navíc.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Berghoff tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Jasně.
Very well. Berghoff is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
Oh. No dobře, no.
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost... Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. But instead, they've been in a bitter arm. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz.
Who is he really?
The cousin of... Until recently, he was... I don't know what led him, but he really is the lead...
The League of Lords.
The lords of the powerful house. They abducted the king years ago and made him back. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way. So they may well be thinking twice.
I don't know.
He's the king's younger brother and king of Hungary. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom... Sigismund is ambitious and capable. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarians. And now this is how Sigismund... The Liechtensteins are a powerful... Since the king's being held captive in...
That's about all.
Very well. Take... So what do you think of it all, Sir Gillish? Think...
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, uncle.
Jasně.
We'll be back in a few days.
Největší provokatér ze všech lidí tady větší než já.
Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
Takže co, cesta na jinou mapu, nebo ještě jdeme ke koním, předpokládám, ne? Jo, 80 peníze hustý. Blahopřejeme, tímto si dokončil hlavní příběh Linkou, což může se tam hodně našich hostů věnovat se aktivitám nebo kontaktovat světem. Hru můžeš kdykoliv ukončit tím, že s družinou ptáčka opustíš mapu. ukončit. Dobře. To je trochu otázka, no, jako ukončit jakože úplně, anebo jakože začne nějaký DLCčko.
Co?
Dobře, tak zbývá mi tady vlastně něco, co bych jako chtěl. Já jsem prostě všechny boční questy udělal, ty jako zásadní, a pak jedině, že bych si musel vzít takhle něco jako, že zadavatelko, já můžu jít do hospody a začít pomáhat prostě lidem jako takhle, že jo, prostě někde jako po hospodách nebo náhodným, něco z toho už jsem dělal, ale asi nechci. Asi prostě pojedu, uvidíme, jestli to něco udělá. Když už tak mě zajímá hlavní quest, tak jako asi nepotřebuju. Jediný blbý, že je možný ta, že to tím zabije úplně. Počkej, takhle, teď nevím, jestli to bylo uložení, ale dáme si tady saveovici. Uložením si ukládáním. A s tím, že se teď tak snad budu moc vrátit ještě. Že já jsem přejedený test.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Burgov is bound to be waiting as eagerly.
Co, to pojďme tímhle tempem až ke kraji mapy, nebo co se děje? Jako naštěstí nejsme uprostřed, takže to není zas tak daleko, ale mohli by zrychlit.
I'm getting used to it.
What about Rodzig? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith's son.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord.
Já vůbec neprovokujem.
What do you think about Sir Jobst and his plan?
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believe we'd rescue the king and all would be well again. But now it looks a lot more complicated.
Exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a sewer. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. It beggars belief. Did you know that King Wenceslas is such a...
Feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trusting your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
What do you think of Sigismund?
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Jdem někam do Neuhofu.
Do you know anything about Prokop?
Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lamberg, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hannes?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Jobst.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hannes as such a rebel.
And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him. And his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
What about the League of Lords?
Wealthy, pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit. But the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put their foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd have let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council? Little wonder they're back at their old tricks.
Tempo. Někdo je proti nám náhodná stráž, nebo se něco bude dít? Předpokládám, že spíš náhodný člověk. Že tady odbočíme doprava možná. Jako náhodný střet s banditama by tady nedávalo smysl, prostě pokud je tohle ukončení. Tady už žádný... Nebo jako takhle spíš hodně by mě překvapilo, kdyby tady teďka byl někde ještě boss fight. Jako líbilo by se mi to víc. Bych měl radši ukončenější konec, kdyby mi tam dali toho bosse nakonec a něco, a ne, že takhle prostě jsem dostřídal pár lidí, teď už je to jenom keci vlastně, no. Takový docela slabý. Protože začátek i průběh všechno zábavnější, ten konec zatím... Bo on je prostě otevřený, no, takže ono... Je toho takový... Tady jdeme pořád na sever, nebo jsme zahodli, nejdeme na sever. OK. Severovýchod, no. Takový konec vhodnější na to, že se 100% bude navazovat. S tím asi počítali, já mám pocit, že jsem začal DLCčko už bylo venku dávno, takže... Zývám. Akorát nevím, jestli to DLCčko je teďka vlastně automaticky v té hře, nebo jestli ho tam Epic dal do toho zdarma, nebo co to bude zač, no možná se musí dokoupit. Že bychom se jeli podívat na trosky. Tyhle mapy rozhodně nejsou, ale... Tohle je zatím fakt nejnudnější část, teď už ani nekecá, vůbec nic se neděje. Neprozkoumané místo, teď jsem tam jel okolo, tady to je jak nějaký přepadení místo, byly po. Jako přepadení mohlo dávat smysl, pokud bych chtěl dělat jinou zápletku typu, že vlastně místo předání dopisu jdem řešit něco jako unesení pana ptáčka, ale přijde mi to asi zbytečný, ale nevěřím tomu. Hra uložena. Kempujeme.
Good gracious, it's Henry, champion of the Rat-Eye tourney.
Are you wishing you'd stayed home at Rat-Eye instead of joining in our nighttime venture?
You must be joking. I haven't had so much fun since... actually ever.
Really? Despite being wounded? Actually, you missed the best part. When I was hauling you like a sack of grain to the battlements, dead to the world.
It can't have been that much fun if I fell asleep. But you might have handled me a bit more gently. I'm black and blue all over.
Oh, all right then. Next time I'll just leave you to Istvan's tender mercies.
Nonsense. What would you do without me? Still, thank you for hauling me out of there.
Anything for you, my lord.
God be with you.
To bylo zase trochu jak nějaký rozhovor z předchozího před 5 questama trošku. Ještě jednou kecat.
How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
No, uložený to je, tak co?
Of course. At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite. Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that whoreson who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!
Tak to vím, zatím jako hra fakt dobrá. Mega mě to bavilo, teďka nápkaži co se stane, že tam pokračovat, budu zpátky ptáčka, co? No jo no. Je takhle, oni mají DLCčka takhle jako... Turnaje jsem hrál, jasně, ale... Dobře, na tohle se podívám pak asi, jestli to tím pádem jde nebo nejde, no. Uvidíme, co to udělá. Nevím, každopádně hra za mě super. Fakt jako boží gameplay. Hezký vliv na všechno, říkám trošku zklamání z konce, který je evidentně příprava na pokračování příběhu a není to ukončený. chyběl mi tam nějaký boss fight nakonec, nebo něco prostě zajímavějšího, jak ukončit tu hru, ale to je tak všechno. Každopádně toto video už je mega moc dlouhý, takže ho ukončím a jestli neseženu DLCčko, tak bude na řadě možná dohrání toho Sekira teda. Tak jo, tak s Bohem.